because we're going to talk about something that's a big deal for a lot of people. Today we're going to talk about ability. Like, what is ability, and does it matter? and so forth. And so here's why this is on my mind. I talk a lot about doing things, about capability, about making stuff happen, about taking control of your life, about, being the creator of your life and creating a life of purpose, prosperity, and joy. And, taking control of the levers, like you're sovereign and all that stuff. And you hear a lot of people talk about that, and I talk about it very forcefully and very powerfully. And sometimes I've had people say, well, that's good for you to say because you can do this. You have the ability to do this. And maybe I don't, or maybe someone else doesn't. And to someone that doesn't have it, you sound unfair or harsh or critical or all the rest. And so I want to talk about this idea of ability. We all have some, maybe only a little, and maybe in completely different areas. Maybe someone, you can just think of every possible thing that there is to do. Some people have abilities and some don't. Some people start in different places, and some people start way ahead, and some people start what looks like behind. You're in a room, maybe all growing up through school, right? People pick teams, and I was one of the ones that was generally picked last. My physical development was slow, and I was not very athletic during my youth and high school and everything else. So I was a last kind of person. So I know what that feels like to, not be very fast. I remember in fourth, and I think it was started in fourth grade, doing the 50-yard dash. We did it in school, and, the teacher would time us. And I remember the guys that could do it fast, they were cool, and I was slow. Compared to other people, I had one of the slowest times in the class. And so that felt very intimidating, I guess, is the word. And I don't mean in any way that person A should be as far along as person B. That isn't what I mean. And so if you hear my encouragement in any way to say you should be able to, you can just stop right there, because there's no should in anything that I'm thinking. What I'm saying, and I want to be really clear, is every one of us has the ability to choose. We can choose what we do, and then we can choose again and again. That choice is renewed moment by moment. Now, remember, you've probably seen, maybe you haven't seen, I'll define it again. I define a moment in a funny way. 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, 24 hours in a day. That's, if you multiply all that together, it's 86,400 seconds in a day. And so I said, for whatever funny reason, there should be 10,000 moments in a day. Well, if you divide that out, a moment is 8.64 seconds. Well, I like that because 8 seconds is long enough to get my teeth into and short enough to still be a moment. It doesn't matter what I choose this moment. I have another moment and another one and another one. And if whatever I chose this moment, I don't like the outcome, I don't like where it leaves me or leads me, hear that. I don't like where it leaves me or where it leads me, I can choose again. Now, sometimes that's not true. If I choose in this moment to drive recklessly and I have a wreck, then, there's some longer term consequences for that. When I had addiction issues and I chose substances over and over and over again, I ended up in rehab. And so those paths are sometimes complicated. But even with that, we have the ability, whatever is going on around us in each moment, to choose, right? And my encouragement to discover and to serve with your divine gifts is not measured against anyone, not one person against another. One person makes more money than another. One person ran a lot faster than I did all through my school years. We have a system and a structure that rewards the fast and punishes the slow. that rewards the smart and punishes the less smart or the less quick in terms of traditional measurements. And we know that those measurements are wrong, and each person has different skills and abilities. My encouragement here is instead of worrying at all about where you fit compared to someone else, why don't we each just see where we are right now compared to where we were last moment or yesterday? My wife happened to have the television on this morning, and it was, I think, Joel Osteen. He's a preacher type fellow, and I don't think I've ever actually seen him talk, or if it has been, it's been in short snippets. And I don't know why she had that on, but she came and told me, he was saying something really interesting about the only approval you need is the approval of your Creator, your God, your universe, the universal intelligence that created you. So our game here is simply to choose to act wherever we find ourselves. So wherever you find yourself. Now, if circumstances have brought you to a tough place, then they have. And I don't know why, and maybe you don't even know why. Maybe people did something, or someone did something, or you have a physical struggle. I was noting after church today, as I came out of the church and got in the car, how I was just feeling my age. Now, I'm 67, and that's not really very old, but I sure was feeling creaky. So I'd sat in the meeting, and I played the organ, and then I sat in another meeting, and with the younger folks. I work in the youth program for part of the time, and I just got up, and I was feeling creaky. And I said something to Joy. I said, I don't know if it's just age or if I'm doing something wrong in terms of nutrition or stretching or whatever, but I'm feeling creaky. And she laughed a little, and we talked about old and getting older and creakiness and bodies working or not working like they used to work and so forth. That all happens, and I'm here because I'm here. My question to me isn't, why am I not somewhere else? My question is really simple. With what I have, what can I do? That's it. With what I have, what can I do? So whether you feel you can climb the same mountain as someone else or not doesn't matter in my mind and in terms of creating the ultimate life. A life of purpose, prosperity, and joy is yours to have. You can have that. What I know is if I decide that my purpose, prosperity, and joy, particularly my joy, is compared to someone else, like if I don't have as much money or the car or the position or the acclaim, if I don't have that external thing, then of course I've handed my satisfaction and joy over to somebody else or something else or some externality. And then you're host. You're stuck until, not forever, but until you make a new choice. And the new choice is, okay, I don't have to please them. I don't have to measure up to their standard. I don't have to do anything except be at peace in my conscience, be at peace with myself, and be at peace with my Creator. That's where I have to measure it. So I want to, the reason I labeled today's ability is because you have some. I don't know what it is. I don't know in what area. I don't know if you would call yourself fabulously talented or have lots of abilities, or minimally talented with very few abilities. I don't know. But you've learned something, and so have I. You learned to walk, probably. You learned to talk, probably. You learned to do some other things. Maybe you draw really well. Maybe you draw really poorly like I used to. I draw a little bit better now, but when people talked about art before, I always said, oh, man, I can't do anything. Best I ever draw is stick figures, little hangman type stick figures. That's it. That's my, the level of my ability. Now, I've developed a little bit more, and I actually dabbled in acrylics and painting and stuff for a little while. At Joy's, encouragement, and I created some paintings. Somebody actually bought a couple of them. Well, that was a surprise to me as anything, right? But anyway, the ability that you want to develop the most is loving yourself. The most important ability is loving yourself as you are, where you are, right here, right now. No questions asked. Start from a place of loving yourself, not expecting that you should be somewhere else. That's my thought. If you start expecting that you should be somewhere else already, you lose, or at least that's my experience. As soon as I used to do that a lot. I would create really busy agendas, schedules for the day. They would almost always revolve around getting up very, very early in the morning and then doing this and this and this, back to back, boom, 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 and then I get all this stuff done. And inevitably, I would get up late, or things would take longer, or I'd get tired. And then immediately I'm feeling behind the eight ball. And Joy and I even coined the phrase, the eight ball feeling, right? And the eight ball feeling is the feeling I'll never get done, I'll never get caught up, doesn't matter what I do, it's not enough, da-da-da-da-da. Well, you can create that for yourself any day you want to. You can also uncreate it. Because here's the funny thing. I won't say never, but most of the time there's not a chorus of people outside the house screaming you're behind the eight ball. That screaming is up here. It's you measuring it against something else that's up here. And almost always one of those came from some external set of demands, some external idea that you should be, have, or do a certain thing. So today, Road to 50 million, my whole Road to 50 million is about helping 50 million people to discover and serve with their gifts. Your gifts. Well, I don't know what yours are. I don't expect you to serve with mine or someone else's. I never even thought of such a thing. But I wanted to talk about ability because we all have some. And the game is to find what we have. And then the game is to see how we can develop it. And the game is to then take that process of finding and developing and serve with joy and love those around us. It's actually really simple. And you're free to not play this game at all. I share it because almost everyone that I talk to says, I love helping people. I want to help people do something, and the something almost always, in fact, always relates to something that's gone on in their life that they've learned, and they want to help people do something, avoid something, and do something better. Okay. Well, the way you do that, the speed at which you do that, how you structure that, or anything else, that's up to you. My encouragement and what I observe is that when we say yes to that opportunity to take whatever talents we have, to develop them, and then make a conscious choice to love and serve with them, that we're way happier. Now, in that process, you might also decide you want to turn it into a business. You want to figure out a product. You want to create, become an entrepreneur, or have a side hustle, or whatever it is. That isn't part of it. It isn't measured in how much money you make or how much product you have or anything else. It's measured in, are you using your gifts to serve and love? That's where I have discovered the ultimate life comes from. If you wake up, or I wake up every day, and we use the gifts that we have, the things we love doing, and we serve others with it, how can we not be happy? So no time. All the time I spent worrying about how come I can't do thus and such like so-and-so, I was unhappy. When I focused on the gifts and talents that I had, I developed them the best they could, and that's an ongoing process. And I'd get rid of all this comparison nonsense. And yes, I needed help doing that. Yes, I've hired a lot of coaches. Yes. Read a lot of books and done all that. But it was just to eliminate all the garbage I'd learned, comparison and judgment and all the stuff that gets heaped on all of us, some more than others. So my Road to 50 million for you today is drop the judgment, drop the drama. Love yourself as you are, where you are. Find the abilities that you do have, and not to sweat, pine, get frustrated with those you don't. Start with what you do have. Start with what you know. Start with what you love. And choose to develop and serve with that. That is the beginning place to find purpose. Create prosperity of spirit and prosperity of wallet if you want to take the steps to create a business. The steps to create a business are not hard. They're well-known, well-documented, and millions upon millions of others have done it. Your business will look completely different than anyone else's, of course. Why? Because you're you and it's your business and products. And that isn't a measure of success, is turning it into money. I'm saying it's possible. In fact, it's easier now than it's ever been. I invite you, if I can help you in any way to discover, develop, and serve with your gifts, I'd love to get a hold of you. I'd love to talk to you. I'd love to be part of your journey. I hope that you feel encouraged. You're a beautiful, divine, capable soul right here, right now, as you are this moment. Take advantage of it. Love yourself, and I'll see you tomorrow on the road to 50 million.